Greetings and welcome to Raw Sound Entertainment's review of the 500 greatest albums of all time, as compiled by the Rolling Stone magazine. Today we'll be reviewing number 488, the album New Day Rising by Husker. It was released in 1985, and we're going to dig right into this bad boy. Before we get into it, we'd like to remind you to follow along by listening to the album beforehand so you know what we're talking about. You don't have to, but you'll get more out of the video by doing that. And if you have any thoughts on this album or anything we have to say about it, if you'd like to participate in the conversation, or if you'd just like to say hi, talk to us on Twitter. All of the links are below, or comment on this video. My name is Marshall.
And my name is Sam.
Let's get started. So, Sam, could you tell us a little bit about Husker Du, if I'm pronouncing that correctly?
I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not sure. It seems that it would be Husker Du, but let's actually talk about it. Husker Du is a band comprised of 3 members from Minnesota, a small town in Minnesota, but here on the Rolling Stone page it says Minneapolis. I don't know where. Earlier I thought they were from Cincinnati. I don't know where I got that, but Minneapolis here. And they are a punk band formed in 1979, and they made a lot of albums after this, actually. They made a lot of albums after 1979. They made New Day Rising, which came out in 1985, which is, I think, their only one on the list. I went through the list, I think, casually, and I didn't see any more Husker Du, so I'm guessing this is their only one on the list, and so we have the privilege of reviewing what Rolling Stone considers to be their best album today. So that's that. They have a very, I want to call it classic punk sound, because it's not quite pop punk that we'll hear later in the 90s with Green Day and Blink-182, but it's more of a down to its roots punk that was developed in the late 70s by bands such as the Ramones and Sex Pistols. Now, let's talk about the album cover, because that's the first thing we usually do in these reviews. So
I think it's interesting. So one thing I'll say right off the bat is the album cover has been run through a sort of pixelated filter, a sort of I want to say it added white noise to the picture, if you can see that, how it's,
yeah,
which I think that's kind of awesome, because that is very representative. Also, I'd like to say, if you guys can tell in the audience, I'm very sorry, I'm a little bit hoarse today, so I might sound differently than usual. But,
I honestly don't hear it at all.
It's the same old Marshall. Oh well, now I'm a jerk for even bringing it up.
Yeah, you see, you're being too self-conscious, buddy. Just go with it.
I'm very self-conscious about my voice, but when I think it's bad, I'm self-conscious about it. But it's the noise on the album, the sort of noise filter that it's been run through, is very characteristic of the sound on the album that we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
it's very like, it almost sounds.
It's a noisy album.
Yeah, it's noisy, but what I mean is, like, it sounds like a lot of their tracks have been run through white noise filters.
Yeah, and
you sort of get this feeling of, like, it's not all there. It's fuzzy, the antenna's not tuned right, so. It's very good. If that's what they meant to do by that, it might have just been an artistic choice. But it's one of those things where I really hope they genuinely meant to do that as to represent the sound they're going for. It's a pretty weird picture, though. 2 dogs on the beach.
Are they dogs?
They look like dogs. That one on the right's definitely a dog. No, I think they're dogs.
Yeah.
What else would they be?
A bull?
I think they're Labradors.
Are they bulls?
What? They're not bulls.
They could be a bull. It's very big. It's a big dog.
To me, it looks like not a lab, golden retrievers. They look like 2 golden retrievers.
I don't know, man. Like I originally thought it was dogs, and I thought maybe they were cows or bulls. I don't know.
Look at that tail. Look at that tail. That's a big dog tail.
That's true. It's a tough one to tell for sure, because they're silhouettes and they're not actual dogs. But they're dogs. Let's put it that way. Also, dogs on the beach.
Also, one thing I love about this photo, the black hole sun imagery.
Yeah,
I know it might not necessarily be a black hole sun, but that's one of my favorite songs, and it's a black sun, so it's sort of, it's negative. It's
and the Event Horizon X loves black hole suns.
Yeah. Well, we do. I used that song in a recent well, not in an intro for Fallout New Vegas, our most recent one, and I might use that song more because it's very thematic for my channel. But that's enough about my channel. I like how it's there because once again it represents the duality, the negativity of the punk movement. Their refusal to submit to authority, so they'll do the opposite. And
no, it's also just a direct allegory to the title New Day Rising.
That's true.
I mean,
I didn't even think about that.
If we just look at it directly as it is, it's the sun rising.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be seeing it as setting, but I mean, it's probably rising because New Day Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the contrast. The blue-orange contrast is my favorite two contrasting colors on the color wheel, and orange, blue is always a really lovely combination to me,
light
and
blue,
I think
though.
it's
Has
very
to be
nice
light
here.
blue.
No, I think they did it well here, though.
That looks like light blue to me.
Oh, you think you would consider that a light blue?
I'm colorblind, but I think that's light blue.
That's like a purple blue.
Damn.
And the font, I love the Husker Du font. Now that's the font they use all the time, and I think it's a very nice font.
Yes.
I love the crack in the middle.
Similar to Kiss, they use the same font for their title, for their band's title on every album, and that's a great thing for
branding.
Yeah, branding.
And then the sort of typewriter font in the bottom, which is always good.
Yeah. Oh,
so it's
clean.
good. I liked it.
Good album cover. Nothing incredibly special. It's not my favorite album cover, but it's great. There's nothing wrong about it that I can really tell.
Let's get to the content.
Yeah.
Let's start with you. What is it that you... Let's start with the positive. What did you like on this album from song-wise?
So, my favorite songs... I'm going to be honest. A lot of the songs blurred together for me. I didn't love a lot of them. I didn't love a lot of them. I like the album as a whole. I'd say my favorite song as far as melody and just the way it sounded, the way it made me feel. The Girl Who Lives on Heaven Hill, I really like that song.
The Girl Who Lives on Heaven Hill. Yeah, that is a good one. That is a good one. That is a banger, for sure.
Yeah, and... Yeah, so there's nothing to me that is offsetting about that one, and it's a great song to rock out to, and it's got good lyrics. I like that imagery, Heaven Hill. That's a cool name. I think my favorite song though on the album has got to be How to Skin a Cat.
And let's just talk about that one here. Let's just talk about that for a little bit.
This is going. If we ever make a list of the 10 most definitive, like the 10 most distinctive songs.
that is a weird thing to say. The 10 most definitive songs.
Not definitive. The 10 most distinctive songs. I think How to Skin a Cat would make it onto that list because
I think so too.
It is so distinctive. It is so strange and weird. If you haven't heard it, which you should have heard the album, and I'm sure if you heard the album, you're like, yeah, no, that was weird. That was weird. Like you're thinking that right now. But if you haven't. It is about a pair of buddies, I'm guessing. They don't say who they are, but I'm guessing like two pals, Beavis and Butthead type guys. And they come up with an idea to start a cat ranch in the business of skinning cats and selling them for 30 cents a skin. And to cut costs on feeding, they end up growing a rat ranch across the street. They feed the rats to the cats. But there's a problem. How do we feed all these goddamn rats and not pay them money? Because we obviously aren't making enough money on 30 cents a skin to buy food. So they end up taking the cats that have been skinned, since they don't need the meat, and throwing that into the rat cage and just feeding the rats on that. So the rats feed on the cats feed on the rats, and it's distinctively sickly and weirdly like I almost think like it's a decent business strategy.
Yes, it is, but this album all has a very chaotic feel to it. The songs are all very, as you've used before. I think, am I using this word right? Wall of sound. Would you consider this a wall of sound?
Yes, this is a wall of sound where you can't really just tell a lot of the instruments apart. You can't tell. Sometimes you can't even tell an instrument from a voice.
It's weird. It's a really chaotic album.
And it's all coming. You almost feel overwhelmed. Like
But
like,
the thing with How to
whoa.
Skin a Cat, just going back to the song because I thought it was really interesting, is it's such a gross concept of feeding the rats themselves in essence, because the cats are eating them and then you are what you eat, feeding the digested and sort of rats back to the rats, and then the rats go back to the cats. It's just a nonstop cycle of the rats basically eating themselves.
And then cats eating themselves.
Is that they make it so chaotic and sort of even add even more filter on there, more filth, and the song is just such a weird piece of art.
Raw Sound Entertainment does not
endorse
cat skinning
or great business strategy.
What?
I will not say that it's not a great business strategy.
I think it's a bad business strategy because no one's buying cat skins.
Yeah, cat skins are they're going down like the house
But
market,
I think 30 cents is a decent estimate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could find a pretty decent market
to that old hobo down the street who's like, I got 30 cents in my pocket. I'll take a cat skin to keep me warm, you know.
But yeah, so I think the song was more of a artistic piece than a listening piece. I would never listen to this song for its sound. I think it's more of a nice play on words.
It's like the kind of thing you listen to like once a year just to make sure, like, just to remind yourself that it exists.
Yes.
Like, you're like, it's time to listen to the cat song again.
It's so weird. It is so weird.
It is. And when I heard it, and I have cats, and when I heard it, I was like, this is messed up. And then it totally drew me in a weird way. Like, I was like, whoa, wait, that's their plan? Oh, whoa, that's crazy. That's kind of smart. Like,
It is.
I was starting to get dragged in by the concept. And then they start, towards the end, it sort of spirals out of control where they're just repeating the same cycle over and over and over again to sort of show this cyclical pattern of these two maniacs who are just have this crazy cat-rat farm.
Exactly.
But yeah, really cool song. Overall.
Yeah, props to them for making that.
So I'm gonna say it's my favorite song because honestly, it's the one that I remember the most. It's it's the only song in this album that if you ask me like 5 years from now, like, oh, like what's one of the weirdest punk songs you've ever heard? I'd be like, How to Skin a Cat, easily. Like, so to me, it's so distinctive that even though I don't love it musically, it's distinctiveness brings it up to the top song in this album for me. And I know some of you guys might not like that, especially those of you who love this punk sound, and I don't mean to disrespect you. It's just that song is so distinctive I can't ignore it. Like, it's screaming at me. But I'd like to hear, Sam, this is more your type of genre, so I'd like to hear more about what you think about this album.
Yeah, I do love punk, and I love this. Love? Maybe not. I really like this album. I'll go to really like. I won't go all the way to love. I really like this album.
I'll buy you dinner first, honey.
I'm not. We're not in love yet. We're not in love yet. I'm not gonna go out and marry this album. Okay, let's just put it that way. Yeah, there's a lot of great sounds in this album. New Day Rising, I think. I don't know if it's a weak start or a strong start. I'm so conflicted on that song because it's powerful, but it's kind of annoying. I'm just gonna put it out there. You get to Celebrated Summer, which is probably my favorite song. That and Powerline were two hits for me. They were great. Something in this album to be noted is that they repeat the song titles throughout the songs a lot. It seems like the main, like New Day Rising, the only lyric in the song is New Day Rising. New Day Rising. Yeah. New Day. Like, it's like, okay, we get it. Okay? And it's like, they do this throughout the entire album.
They are not great lyricists.
No, they're not, but they let the punk speak for itself, and I think that's interesting. I don't know what you're talking about. Probably one of the more memorable tracks on the
I thought you were saying LP. Like something I said you didn't agree with.
No, I think that's one of the more hard-hitting and more memorable tracks on the album. Not on my list for some reason. I didn't add it to my list. But it was good. They were all good. They except for Terms of Psychic Warfare. Really didn't like that one. I just really did not like Terms of Psychic Warfare. Is it the first song on this list that I hated? No. Is it the first song on this list that I highly, highly disliked? Yes. Terms of Psychic Warfare, I would never listen to that song again. I listened to this album a lot, and in the past week, because we haven't uploaded in a week, so I had a lot of time to really listen to this album, sorry. And Terms of Psychic Warfare, every time was just like, ugh. I don't want to touch it.
I don't wholly agree with you there. Like, that song didn't bother me that much.
It was conflicting with the rest of the album. It was too punk. I was like, okay, you're getting a little far there.
It has a very almost
distorted.
Also, like, the drums in it are really in your ears, like in a sort of breaking glass kind of way. It's a very, I know what you mean. That is a very wall of sound song, and maybe like
I'm not talking about the right song. I'm just listening to it now. This is not the right song. 59 Times the Pain is the right song.
Oh,
whoops.
That makes more sense because I didn't like that one.
Terms of Psychic Warfare, great song, fantastic song, really good.
I like Terms of Psychic Warfare.
Okay, 59 Times the Pain. 59 Times the Pain is the song I would never listen to again. That's the one. I'm sorry. I'm. It's late. It's late. Not really late, but it's Terms of Psychic Warfare. Week. I'm sorry. 59 Times the Pain. That's the song. I just listened to this album like 2 hours ago. But 59 Times the Pain, that's the song that annoyed me the most in this album. Now they say something interesting on the Rolling Stone page, which I think I'll bring up again, is that they say it's like the Beach Boys songs sung. It's like Beach Boys sung by garbage trucks. Now, do I agree with that?
What they're saying.
I do too. Books about UFOs. That song could be a Beach Boys song if you listen to it, because it has that sound. Read books about UFOs. It's got that sort of Beach Boys jingle to it, but it's punk. So it's I can see where they're coming from, from there. But the rest of the album, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. I'm sorry, Rolling Stone, but I don't see your Beach Boys allegory at all.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time it wouldn't be the first time Rolling Stone was wrong about something, but.
Oh yeah, I guess not. Let's start with you, Marshall. Give us your rating.
I am going to give this, and I sort of went back and forth with this because I too had a long time to think about this. We listened to this like 4 days ago, and it was my fault we haven't been able to record until now because I was on a small vacation, but more of like it was part vacation, part helping my sister. But I would give this a 5 out of 10, a solid 5 out of 10. It's not going to get a 6 for me because it wasn't super entertaining. It was a distinctive album, so it was more distinctive than, let's say, Touch, Boss Gags.
Oh, you got mentioned! Yay!
But I think it doesn't deserve a 6 for me.
Talking to you today, I thought you were gonna go 6, but you went 5.
No, it's a 5. I'm sorry.
This is probably the most definitive I've been on a score. I thought about the score when I first listened to this, and it's been the same score since every time I've listened. For about 4 times now I've listened to this LP, and every time I've got the same. Whoa! Just dropped my pen.
That's a loud pen.
Listen, this whole table just reverbs whenever I drop anything on it, so I got to be really careful because the mic's just sitting there. I need to get a mic holder thing, you know?
Yeah, no, you need to get a shock mount. They're awesome. I have a shock mount. So I'm gonna hit my my microphone mount and tell me how loud it is.
Yeah, you see, that sounds like excellent, because me, it's like if I drop something on my desk, it's like, okay, everybody's deaf now.
Like, did that sound really bassy?
It was good. It sounded almost like a nice sound.
It should sound fine, again. Because the shock mount basically takes all of the vibrations out.
We are so sidetracked right now. Can we go back to the score? Can we go back to the album? This is
raw sound entertainment. I mean, we're talking about things that produce sound.
True. I guess we could have a whole episode just talking about mics, but I digress.
Christmas special. No.
I'm gonna give this an 8 out of 10 because I thought it was really enjoyable. 8 out of 10 just sounded fair to me.
Praise.
It is. I thought it was a fair score. I didn't want to go 9. 9's way too high for this album. I think 8 is even maybe a little bit generous. A lot of the songs ended up on my list. I don't know how long they're gonna stay there because these could get really annoying, but I just thought it was good. I thought it was an excellent album. I thought it was very punk. They did punk a how would you say that? They
service?
Did punk a service, exactly, by making this album. I liked how it didn't have that very political, very strong message. I like the lightheartedness of this whole album and how it was very how you could say Beach Boys-esque, maybe. I don't know. Like songs like Celebrated Summer, where
Beach Boys is almost more political than this album.
I guess so. They're just singing about fun stuff, except for the cats.
That's like a figurative. That's a statement about the society and how we're all just cats getting ready to be fed to the rats.
I hope not.
Maybe. But
all right.
I think one crazy thing about this album is that they said it was a big influence on Nirvana in the Rolling Stone description. And that's pretty big because I feel like Nirvana in the last 5 years has had this huge popularity surge.
Yeah, and you see, I don't hear a lot of Nirvana in this. This is not very... Kurt Cobain has such a unique sound. And is Kurt Cobain's sound in here? Not really. So I think it was... Did it influence it? Yes, but as much as Rolling Stone...
Not as Kurt Cobain's sound in here. Is Husker Du's sound in Kurt Cobain.
And I don't hear it at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just like they have such different sounds that it's like, I don't know. Because these guys are have more of a sharp sound. Nirvana has a very whiny sound. So let's just... I don't know. I don't think these guys are whiny at all in their singing.
Yeah.
I digress. Last album, or not last album, Jesus, no.
This is the last album.
This is the last album we are ever doing. No,
Husker
next
Du.
album, number 487, Cyndi Lauper, She's So Unusual. I have no idea what to expect. This is from 1983, 2 years before Husker Du's album, New Day Rising.
And
Marshall,
it is even more extreme. No.
You excited, Marshall? You looking forward to some Lauper?
I
some
am
Cyndi?
excited. Cyndi Lauper. I was introduced to her more recently than like most bands. I was introduced to her actually when I played BioShock Infinite, and because BioShock Infinite has one of the best accumulation of tracks that it used. Like it used "Shiny Happy People Holding Hands" by REM. It used Clearance, Creed. Wait, Creed, Clearance. Oh shit, what's that one band called?
Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yes, thank
Creedence
you.
Clearwater
Jeez,
Revival.
that is a mouthful. Anyway, they used a lot of great songs, and they used one of Cyndi Lauper's songs, and "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," like her second biggest hit, I want to say, or like.
I thought that was Cyndi Lauper. I heard that on the radio the other day, and I was like with a friend. We were taking the bus home, and I was like, "Is this Cyndi Lauper?" And he's like, "No, that's Madonna." And I'm like, "Pretty sure it's Cyndi Lauper." I was right.
You were
okay.
totally right. No,
Yeah.
he was totally wrong. That's not even kind of Madonna's.
No, it didn't sound like Madonna at all.
Sound.
So I don't know. Anyways, you're excited. I guess I'm excited, sort of. And we will see you in the next episode for Cyndi Lauper's She's So Unusual. Listen to the album beforehand, and I'm sure that you will get the video. The video will make more sense, but it is also enjoyable without listening. Also, if you wish to follow us and also contact us, there are two ways. One, in the comments section. Two, on Twitter. Twitter handle's been on the screen the entire time. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to see our next videos. We try to upload once every 2 days. Has not been working out in the past week, but we will be trying to get back on the wagon this week. Hopefully that'll work out. This has been Raw Sound Entertainment, and we will see you next time.